from the Georgia WeatherNet Storm Center. Live severe weather coverage starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is 4:39. I'm meteorologist KJ Allen here in the Georgia WeatherNet 24-hour Storm Center. We have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings to talk about in northwest Georgia. And normally we don't go live for every severe thunderstorm warning, but these are some pretty significant storms. And we've been talking about this threat of severe weather over the last couple of days. And here's our line, still stretching into parts of central Alabama, but breaking into northwest Georgia. And a couple of these storms up around the Chattanooga area and Dalton area have that considerable tag on it, so that means some very strong straight line destructive winds. Those are the words from the National Weather Service. We're not trying to hype these storms up, but just want to let you know exactly what is going on. So again, we have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, and I'll just go full screen with our radar here, and you can see all these polygons all lumped in together. And let me just kind of run down all the counties that are involved one way or another with these severe thunderstorm warnings. So we start northwest Georgia, extreme northwest corner of the state, Dade County, Walker County, Catoosa, Whitfield, Murray County, Gordon, Bartow, Paulding, Haralson, Polk, Floyd, and Chattooga counties, all under one of these multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. Kind of counting these here, I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of interlaced there. And the one that we are most concerned with right now, a couple of watching, is going to be in Dade County right now over I-59. This is where we have our considerable severe thunderstorm warning, and looking at some very, very strong winds right over I-59 moving into Trenton. Also report of some very strong winds once we start getting up into the higher elevations up around Cloudland Canyon. So we could be seeing some 60, 70 mile an hour wind gusts very easily around Cloudland. So obviously when you get up in those the higher elevation, you have a little bit less to deal with in terms of all that surface friction, so you get stronger winds in the mountains. So that's what we are dealing with there in northwest Georgia. Also looking at a very strong cell just to the north of Cedartown, between Cedartown and Lindale, getting into southern Floyd County. We may have some hail associated with this pocket of the storm. But looking at the overall structure, and let me just turn off all these warning polygons here just so you can get a better idea without having all those yellow boxes clouding everything up. But look at this bowing part of the storm. We talk about this quite often this time of year. We know we have strong winds coming in on the backside of the storm. That's why it pushes out. So we don't have a straight line. We have this bowing segment, and that's what's pushing into western Floyd County, moving toward Rome, Lindale, as I mentioned, heading down into Polk County, and then some very strong reflectivity coming up when you get up into Dade and Walker County, and some cells out ahead of our storm here. We call these our discrete cells over I-75, and also stretching down in toward Paulding County as well. Northern Carroll County, we see some of these cells that are basically independent of this main line. So just a sign that the atmosphere is ripe for these storms to cook up. We look down into Alabama, because this is what's going to be moving into parts of West Georgia. We see some strong thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms there as well. Now, some good news, we really don't have a lot of tornado parameters to deal with these storms. We can't rule out a spin-up tornado. All these cells are going to try to rotate in some fashion, but we don't have a lot of that wind shear to deal with. Our main concern will just be the really, really strong convection with these storms. So they're going to build up really high in the atmosphere. That's going to help some of that hail to form, and then also looking at a lot of wind associated with this. So with the wind threat, that's going to be enough for these storms to possibly create some damage. And again, in extreme northwest Georgia, we see this destructive tag here. So a very, very strong destructive severe thunderstorm that is moving through Dade County, now moving into Walker County. We see a strong reflectivity here as we start to cross or head toward I-75, moving over toward Dalton. So we'll keep an eye on that storm there as well over in western Whitfield County. So just checking in with the National Weather Service. Yeah, we're looking at now 80 mile an hour possible wind in Dade and Walker County. So Coal City, you are, looks like just on the backside of that very destructive wind. And as I mentioned, starting to head over toward Cloudland Canyon State Park, very, very windy. So 80 mile an hour. So normally we're talking about these 60 mile an hour wind gusts. We get to 70, we start to really get concerned. And now we're looking at these 80 mile an hour wind gusts. Looks like this is starting to move into the central Walker County, heading in toward eastern Walker County, and beginning to move into Whitfield County. So we'll continue to watch that storm for sure. Just checking out the rest of the state. Again, some pop-up thunderstorms. We have down in South Metro Atlanta, east of Peachtree City, out towards Sonoy, and heading over north of Jackson there in Butts County. We see some of these isolated storms that are popping up. With the atmosphere, no surprise there that it is right for these storms to pop up. Checking out Gilmer and Pickens County, we see some thunderstorms here. Thunderstorm heading right up above Ellijay, and that one looks pretty strong. Not severe at the moment, but strong storm. And hopefully we'll get a little bit of energy pulled out of the atmosphere by some of these storms out ahead. But we do need to watch some spin. Pretty good storm structure. Let's take a look at this storm in Cobb County. Yeah, that has a really nice structure right there between Marietta and Smyrna. You can see our forward flank here spread out. We have our rear flank and a little bit of a notch trying to form there. So again, not a big tornado risk day today. Whatever tornado parameters we have are kind of on the low end, and have been watching that on the modeling, and that's mainly heading out towards central Georgia. So once these storms move that direction, we'll see how the atmosphere continues to respond. That's going to be a little bit later on tonight, but we're probably not going to see a lot of tornado warnings. We could, can't rule it out, but for the most part, this is going to be a big wind event and the possibility of that hail. So here's another sweep of the radar. Again, really great storm structure on this. Not a severe storm, but a significant storm for sure, right over central Cobb County. So between Smyrna and Marietta, there's Fair Oaks. We're looking at that decent storm. Let's just take a look at the velocity on it. I just want to see if we have any spin. Yeah, not really showing any real tight circulation on this, but if we had anything at all, it would be just here to the west of Smyrna. So we'll just keep an eye on that. The Weather Service will as well, and we'll make sure that doesn't cause any mischief. We have a couple of lone cells here moving out of Carroll County, heading into Douglas County. So looks like two individual cells here, probably splitting, and a sign there that that's some strong wind associated with that. Little cell just east of Carrollton as well. And then out to our west, we see the very familiar sight of just one severe thunderstorm warning after another, all linked together like a chain. So it gives you a good idea that this squall line is very, very strong and not a whole lot of breaks in between. But our strongest of the storms here in the state of Georgia, we're looking up in the southern part of Catoosa County. This is extreme part of southern Catoosa County, heading into Whitfield County, moving toward Dalton, and that has now a considerable tag on it as well. So that storm is moving out of Walker County, where we had the potential of 80 mile an hour wind gust, and that is now pushing through Catoosa, extreme southern Catoosa, western Whitfield County. So I would treat this almost like a tornado warning if you were in the Dalton area. Get inside right now. You want to be in that lowest level, most interior room, because 80 mile an hour wind gusts can do significant damage. So considerable is one step down from destructive. So destructive had the 80 mile an hour gust. Looks like that may have calmed just a bit, but we're still showing about a 70 mile an hour wind gust possibility as we're moving into Whitfield County, heading toward Dalton. So let me just go full screen with this and give you the latest text here from the Weather Service. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 5:15. This for portions of Catoosa, Murray, Whitfield, central Walker County. And this has gone, again, from that 80 mile an hour wind gust potential to 70. So still some considerable damage to trees, homes, roofs, outbuildings, all possible with this storm. So this does include Dalton, Lafayette, Chatsworth, Ringgold, Fort Oglethorpe, Barnell, Eaton, Tunnel Hill, Cohutta, Chattanooga Valley, Lafayette, I already mentioned. We'll mention it again for double protection there. Sumac, Gregory, Blue Springs, Fairview, and Beaverdale, all in this severe thunderstorm warning. Also severe thunderstorm warning down to the south, and this is going until 5:30. So this is a big one, covering portions of Paulding, Haralson, Gilmer, Murray, Floyd, Whitfield, Walker, Gordon, Polk, Chattooga, and Bartow counties. And we're showing the potential of 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts with this. This covers Rome, Cartersville, Calhoun, Dallas, Cedartown, Summerville, Buckhannon, Adairsville, Rockmart, Hiram, Tallapoosa, Tryon, Emerson, Aragon, Cave Spring, White, Kingston, Resaca, and Braswell, all in this severe thunderstorm warning. Another considerable tag on a warning just to the south of this one. So this just came out just a couple of minutes ago. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Paulding County, Haralson County, Carroll County, west central Cobb County, Douglas County, and southwestern Polk County. And this goes until 5:30 p.m. Watching those thunderstorms right over Heflin, Alabama, cruising right along I-20. Possibility of 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. This storm's moving east at 55 miles per hour, so pretty decent speed on this particular storm. And inside this warning include the cities of Douglasville, Carrollton, Dallas, Buckhannon, Villa Rica, Powder Springs, Bremen, Temple, Hiram, Tallapoosa, Bowden, Mount Zion, Whitesburg, Waco, Rootville. Remember that tornado we had just, what was that, the week before last was around Rootville, Brownsville, Bill Arp, and Seton Lake. You're in the severe thunderstorm warning with the considerable tag. So here you go. We're going to be watching this line moving in. Let's get some timing on this as best we can. Yeah, we'll throw this one up here. So it looks like a little after 5 o'clock, should be in Bremen at about 5:03, Carrollton at 5:13, Villa Rica 5:15, and if this storm continues on its current path and at its current rate and speed, be over in Austell at about 5:31, Mableton at 5:34, and then moving into Cobb County just a little after 5:30, heading in towards Smyrna by about 5:38 or so. So just give you a couple of those times there. And yeah, this is just a big wind-producing storm. Let's take a look at the velocity and look at it. I mean, we're just seeing these bright greens. So this doesn't, we're not really showing any rotation here, but the bright green, that means really, really fast wind coming in toward the radar. And that's why we have the considerable tag on this severe thunderstorm warning because of those very strong winds. Going to be a little hard to see. We'll just see what the speed shows. This is going to be up in the atmosphere. Let me just see how high up this is. About 4,500 feet. So we're showing 60-mile-an-hour wind. That's basically sustained 60-mile-an-hour winds about 4,500 feet up. Now that doesn't mean that's going to go all the way down to the ground. Obviously, the wind goes a lot faster the higher up you go. Once again, you're not dealing with as much of the surface friction, but pretty close. You start to drop down toward the surface, and you could very easily be seeing some 40-mile-an-hour sustained winds and those 60-mile-an-hour gusts and greater. And look at that, we're showing 70 mile an hour. Again, this is about 4,000 feet up in the air, but still a good idea what is whipping through across the state line here, moving in from Alabama over to Georgia, showing the 71 mile an hour incoming winds. That is really something. So let me, yeah, this is, I know we're showing, we had our destructive tag due to the 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts, considerable tag, very, very strong winds here in extreme northwest Georgia. But just based on the radar shot of the velocity, this is some very, very strong wind here coming in from Heflin, Alabama, moving in across the state line into Carroll County and Polk County. And Haralson County, obviously, up in there as well. Going to be seeing those very strong winds. Yep, so just update from the National Weather Service. They're saying very possible 70-mile-an-hour winds moving into Haralson County as it crosses the state line. So batten down the hatches in Tallapoosa, Buckhannon, right here. There's your strong wind, 70-mile-an-hour wind, very, very possible here, moving into western Haralson County now. And with this storm moving at 55 miles per hour, that's a decent speed. That's not extremely fast. It's not slow. It's just somewhere right there in the middle. So these storms are going to creep up very, very quickly. And that's the bad part. The good part is it'll move out fairly quickly as well. So hopefully that will lessen our wind damage issue with these storms moving as fast as they are. Pretty decent. I'm just checking one of our other radar sites here in central Polk County, just below Cedartown here. We have a strong reflectivity coming out, so maybe some hail with that. Let me see. I don't know. That just may be really, really heavy rain. That normally would look like a hail core, but our radar is not estimating that to be really any significant hail. That could just be very, very heavy blinding rain now just south of Cedartown, south of US 278. And a little bit of a notch trying to form. So this storm is being well fed, no problems there, even though it's getting a little bit of influence from this cell out ahead of it. Just to the south of Rockmart, eastern Polk County, we still see that little notch trying to form. So doesn't necessarily mean that the storm is spinning of a significant nature, but it just means that it's being well fed by that warm, unstable atmosphere. Eastern Floyd County, now moving toward the Bartow County line. We have strong reflectivity, so very heavy rain has been coming down over Rome, and that's going to start to lighten up a little bit in the next couple of minutes. But that part of the system is moving out of Floyd County, now heading into western Bartow County, heading over toward Kingston. And let's just check in with our storms that had our destructive and considerable tag. Good news is we're going to be in the clear out in Dade County. We have some more rain coming in, but that severe part of the storm has pushed to the east and really pushing out of Walker County. It's in eastern Walker County now and really starting to put its eyes on central Whitfield County. So that's why we have the considerable tag over our severe thunderstorm warning over Whitfield, out stretching into Murray County, but that storm is just about right over I-75 at this point, moving into Dalton, and then we'll be holding together without any problem heading over toward Murray County. So just a reminder, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for basically all of North Georgia and stretching down into parts of Middle Georgia as well. This was extended. Let me see. This is actually the old one. Let's see if I can get. There's the new one. So this was extended down into Columbus just a little bit ago. So this goes until 9 o'clock tonight. So Columbus, Muskogee County, you're in here. Macon Bibb, you're in there as well. Lake Oconee, Lake Sinclair. Almost to Augusta, so we have some counties that are just surrounding the Augusta metro. You're in the severe thunderstorm watch. Washington, Wilkes, you're in there. Athens, up to Toccoa and Clayton, all of northwest Georgia, all of metro Atlanta with the potential of these severe storms. And this watch goes until 9 o'clock tonight. We'll see if that gets extended at all to the southeast. That'll be a little ways down the road if that's the case. But for right now, just wanted to show you where that watch area is located. And we'll start to see some of the counties in northwest Georgia drop off over the next hour or so as this line moves through. Because on the backside, we can take a look at the National Composite Radar, and you can see nothing going on the backside. Once we get this front end of the squall line through, we're all done. We do have severe storms up in the parts of right on the line there between what would be considered middle and east Tennessee, up above Chattanooga, heading up I-24. We see some severe storms, and then things kind of spread out. We have a little bit more stability there east of Nashville, heading over the Cumberland Plateau, but our severe weather well into the state of Georgia and then also stretching down into parts of central Alabama, and not much going on south of Montgomery. Everything's pretty quiet. Now that's going to change a little bit overnight tonight. We'll see another line of storms coming through, and not looking at as high of a severe weather risk for us here in the state of Georgia overnight tonight, but still a few strong thunderstorms are possible overnight. We'll take a look at the weather models here in just a bit, and we'll time all that out for you. But for right now, I just want to show you what's going on in real time, just give you that big picture that I don't think this part of the line that's not in Georgia yet is going to let up as it moves toward the state. So this will be moving toward LaGrange, Columbus, and stretching into parts of middle Georgia over the next few hours. Let's get back to our high-res radar. We'll take a look at all of our storms. We have some new sweeps coming out. I'm starting to see this spread out a little bit, so maybe some signs that we're getting a little bit of stability entering the picture there as the storms are moving over toward the mountains. Still going to be a big wind issue, especially when we get up in those higher elevations, Brasstown, Bald, over to Blood Mountain. We're going to see some very, very strong winds in those higher elevations, even if these storms settle down a bit. Still going to be a big wind maker. But looking down, yes, still some strong reflectivity just to the south of Cedartown, southeast of Cedartown, And just looking at that very, very heavy rain, there's that cell we're looking at that was maybe interfering with this inflow just a bit. They may get pulled in there like a vacuum and may help close that off a bit and help that storm settle down as it continues tracking through Polk County. But also want to watch our severe thunderstorm with this considerable tag. We timed out some of the locations for you. We know that roughly 5:30 or so, that's really going to be starting to get into the west suburbs of Atlanta, heading in toward Cobb County, possibly impacting Smyrna up and then down into Douglasville. So about 30 minutes to go before it gets in that far. But still a decent storm here over Lithia Springs, stretching up to Mableton, right over I-20 here west of town. We have some very good form, good shape on this storm. And again, not showing anything in terms of rotation to be worried about. It's very possible we make it through all of these storms over the next several hours and not even talk about a single tornado warning. It's very, very possible that we do that because the tornado parameters are just not very high. So that's the good news. But the wind is a big factor. That's why we have all these considerable tags. Here's another one. This one was just upgraded a few minutes ago, adding that considerable. So we're looking at the potential of 70-mile-an-hour wind gust as these storms, as I mentioned, moving out of Floyd County, now moving into western Bartow County, up to the north, just checking out around Calhoun. That heavy rain is coming down, and the wind, it looks like the worst of the wind is going to be out ahead of Calhoun now, over toward Ranger, but the heavy rain is what is falling right now. All right, so we are tracking multiple severe thunderstorm warnings this afternoon, live on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, and here on Facebook. Thank you for joining me. Just want to run down for those of you just now joining us on Facebook. We appreciate you having us locked in. And let me just run down all of our severe thunderstorm warnings. Also want you to notice this considerable tag that we have with these storms. So that's that indication that we have 70-mile-an-hour greater wind gusts possible. This particular storm moving over Dalton right now had a destructive tag as it was moving out of Walker County into Whitfield County. That has been dropped down to considerable, but still we have to pay very close attention to this. So severe thunderstorm warning with the potential of considerable wind damage. This is for portions of Catoosa, Whitfield, and Murray counties. And this warning is covers again the city of Chatsworth as well as Sumac, Cisco, moving over Dalton right now and Tilton. Then we go down to the south, another big warning polygon here, also with the considerable tag. This has portions of Gordon, Floyd, Bartow counties, Polk County, Paulding, and northern Haralson County. That one with the potential of 70-mile-an-hour wind gust. Strong winds pushing into Kingston up to Adairsville. Heavy rain over Calhoun right now. Taylorsville picking up that wind. And that wind's going to continue to push in toward central Bartow County over to Cartersville. Rain beginning to fall right now in Cartersville, but the wind is really going to start picking up in the next 5 to 10 minutes. And then we considerable severe thunderstorm warning to the south. And this has portions of Paulding, Haralson, Carroll, west central Cobb County, Douglas County, and southwestern Polk County. This warning takes us until 5:30. And looking out ahead of that, we do see these individual storms. Decent storm here stretching from Douglasville all the way now to about the west side perimeter here at 285. So very heavy rain coming down on I-20. Always a lot of drainage problems around I-20 and 285 on the west side of town. So this is going to potentially cause some issues, some flooding there on the interstate. We have some discrete cells south of town as well. And these are some pretty big ones, but they're out there by themselves, so they're able to kind of take advantage of that warm, humid, unstable air and all that instability. So we have some heavy rain over McDonough, stretching up I-75 up to Stockbridge. So this is continuing to track to the east at about 50 miles an hour. So these storms are moving fairly quickly. Great storm structure on this storm that has just formed over central Cobb County. now moving through eastern Cobb County, heading into North Fulton. But this one is really something. Have our strong forward flank here, and then our rear flank downdraft here on the backside, right over I-75. So strong winds there. It looks like that is just now pushed over I-75, but some heavy rain is going to be coming down on the north side in Atlanta over 285 and Georgia 400. And just to give you the big picture, if you're just joining us, this is what we still have to deal with. Looks like a lot of these warnings have dropped off in central Alabama, so maybe some good news. We may be starting to see a little bit of weakening here. This is what's going to eventually push over toward LaGrange, the tail end of this, moving toward Columbus. But the worst of the storm is right here in this central portion. Once you get up into East Tennessee and over middle to East Tennessee over the Cumberland Plateau, you can see not a whole lot of warnings going on up here around I-40, so pretty stable air up toward the north. And as we continue moving through the late afternoon and into the early evening hours, we'll see some of that stability start to creep down to the south just a little bit. So that will help us a bit, but we still have a few hours to go before we can really take advantage of the lack of solar heating. Our sunset is, about 8:40, something like that tonight, so we still have a few more hours of that sun cooking up the atmosphere. New severe thunderstorm warning to pass along to you, and this is going to be for portions of Lumpkin County, Gilmer County, Murray County, northeastern Whitfield County, Union County, and Fannin County. So North Georgia mountains, severe thunderstorm warning until 5:45. This does not have a considerable tag on it, so that's at least a step in the right direction. This is a standard severe thunderstorm warning, possibility of 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. This does include Chatsworth, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, Blairsville, East Ellijay, Morganton, Suches, Crandall, Jones Mill, Eaton, Gumlog, Jones Creek, the Cahutta Wilderness Area, Beaverdale, Pisgah, Mineral Bluff, Cherry Log, Stover Creek Shelter, Hemp, and Tails Creek. So if you're in any of those areas or know anyone who is, they're in the North Georgia mountains, get them ready for this severe thunderstorm warning moving in. But again, a decent sign here. This part of this line, or this little section of the line that prompted this warning, when it moved into Dade and Walker County, it had a destructive tag. That's about as high as you can get when it comes to the severe thunderstorm warnings. So it had the potential of 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So they put the destructive tag, then they dialed it back to considerable. Those are your 70-mile-an-hour wind gust, and now we're at the 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. So a standard severe thunderstorm warning. This could whip up again, but I'm seeing a little bit of stability starting to build in to these storms here in extreme North Georgia. It looks a lot more ominous here to the south, so stretching from Calhoun and then all the way down into beginning to move into northwest Paulding County there. This looks a whole lot more menacing than these storms up on the counties that border Tennessee and North Carolina, but still severe. One after another. Severe thunderstorm warnings all the way from the Tennessee line, stretching down to the Alabama line. And we have to take all these storms seriously. Not a big tornado threat today. Quite possibly we're going to make it through the rest of the afternoon and evening without calling out a single tornado warning, because there's just not a lot of that wind shear in the atmosphere. We have a ton of instability in the atmosphere, but and you can tell. Just going outside, looking at those temperatures or feeling those temperatures. Look at this. We have 90s, low 90s as we move down into middle Georgia and South Georgia. Warm, humid air in North Georgia with those upper 80s, around 90 degrees. And you can just tell, the air is very, very soupy. See if I can take a look at our dew point. Another good thing to look at, just show how humid it is out there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that is very uncomfortable. You get these dew point readings in the 70s. That's when you just don't want to go outside. Very, very uncomfortable. So you don't have to look at that map. You can tell just by walking outside to know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's a sign that we have plenty of moisture in the atmosphere to feed these storms, and lots of instability. But again, luckily not a lot of wind shear, not a lot of that twisting as you go up in the higher elevations to get these storms to rotate. All of these storms are rotating somewhat. That's just the way that it works. So if you were able to pick out each individual cell in this line, they're all going to have a counterclockwise rotation element to it. The problem that we get is when the wind is kind of egging it on and trying to get it to spin even faster than it normally would, and that's when we get that tornado threat. So again, the tornado threat's not zero, but it's very, very low given these storms. We're starting to get a little bit too it's much into the warm months. Our tornado season kind of ends around Memorial Day, and it's tough to get really big tornado outbreaks during the summer months. But we can go into the reasons for all that at another time, but just wanted to at least set your mind at ease that this is not going to be a big tornado event, but it is going to be a strong and severe wind event as these storms continue moving your way. Got see a picture here. Maybe we can get a video of what the sky looks like in Bremen. So our friends at Gradit Communications, great broadcasters out there in the Carrollton, Bremen area. Let's see if we can get this up here. There we go. This is a video. You see the cars moving, but the clouds very, very slow moving there. Very ominous clouds moving into Bremen right now. So that's what it looks like. And let's see if we can maybe we can get another video here. Let me go full screen with this one. No, maybe not. There we go. So yeah, again, thanks to Gradit Communications out of Carrollton, showing us what it looks like there at the Ingalls in Bremen. Yeah, pretty quiet looking out to the east there, but that initial shot was out to the west, watching those storms roll in from Alabama. All right, so no signs of any rotation there, no wall clouds, anything of that nature. So again, I'm just not really going to see a huge tornado threat with these storms, but strong winds. I was just measuring. We can pull this back up on the screen here. Let me go to the velocity. Ooh, wow. So here's what we're looking at. Look at this really bright green. Let me turn the polygons off for just a second. And this is just what's screaming strong winds. We're looking at this point around western Carroll County, probably about 3,500 to 4,000 feet up in the atmosphere. And we can measure what the wind is like just based on the radar. And so we're showing, had 65 mile an hour there. Let's see, there's almost 70, showing 68 just above I-20. So this is wind that is in excess of 65 miles per hour. Again, not at the surface, but just a couple of thousand feet up in the atmosphere. And some of that does make it down to the surface, slows up a little bit with the friction. But this is normally the tool that we use to look at the rotation of the storm, but you see no reds and greens coming together, just really bright green, so very, very strong winds. We do see a little pocket up here just above Kingston, heading into northwest Bartow County. We see some red. This is extremely broad. Let's just take a look at what this looks like compared to reflectivity. Yeah, it's pretty deep in the core of the storm and extremely broad. So if something like this were to close up a little bit more, this is where we could see the potential of a possible tornado here. But for right now, very, very broad rotation there in northwest Bartow County, just to the south of Adairsville, north of Kingston. But a good sign that we have some strong winds, that's for sure. So we still need to take that storm seriously, even though there's not an immediate tornado threat on that. We have no tornado warnings here in Georgia. We haven't had one, a single one all day. And I did not see one in Alabama. If one happened, I missed it. But I was watching the storms actually as they were moving across. I was watching it all the way out in Arkansas, and then they moved across northern Mississippi through Alabama. Multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, but not a single tornado warning that I saw today. If it happened, I missed it. And again, I don't think we're going to see one here in Georgia. Now, these storms, they could prove me wrong. But for the most part, we're just going to be concentrating on the wind. And that's why we have our 3 severe thunderstorm warnings here, 1, 2, 3 with a considerable tag on it. Standard run-of-the-mill severe thunderstorm warning without the considerable tag, which is good news for the North Georgia mountains. That wind is still strong, but it's starting to mellow out just a little bit. Looking at just above Ellijay here along Highway 76, we do show a pretty strong echo coming back. So very heavy rain. Just kind of looking to see if we have any hail marker on that. We don't. Yeah, so maybe some hail around Fairmount. Yeah, this one here, northeast of Fairmount, southeast of Ranger, could be picking up some hail in this particular core. But not many of these storms really showing a big hail potential, surprisingly enough. We have strong updrafts with these storms. This is mainly just the wind coming out of these storms and the heavy rain. So moving into western Pickens County now, maybe seeing half-inch size hail possible here right on the county line. So we'll keep an eye on this part of the storm. And by the way, if you are joining us on Facebook, appreciate that very much. We also have our YouTube stream up as well. So just trying to get out as many platforms as we can to keep you informed of what's going on. Another severe thunderstorm warning here coming out. And again, I want you to notice we got the considerable tag on this warning. Here's our new warning without the considerable tag. So we're going to dial the wind down just a bit. Still 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible for this warning. And let me give you the details. This is going to be for central Paulding County, Cherokee County, Cobb County, west central Lumpkin County, southern Gilmer County, south central Murray County, western Dawson County, eastern Gordon County, north central Fulton County, Pickens County, and Bartow County. Severe thunderstorm warning until 6 p.m. This does include Marietta, Canton, Cartersville, Dallas, Jasper, Mountain Park, Sandy Springs, Roswell, Alpharetta, Smyrna, Milton, Kennesaw, Woodstock, Ackworth, Valley Springs, Adairsville, and Hiram, and part of the city limits of Atlanta, including the ballpark, which, as you may or may not know, the Truist Park does have an Atlanta address, so it is in the Polygon, but downtown Atlanta, Midtown, you're not in there. Just kind of cuts a little piece there inside 285, but again, the ballpark is in there as well. So technically, part of Atlanta is in this severe thunderstorm warning. I think the rest of Atlanta is going to get impacted by this part of the warning here as that gets extended out, so we'll watch that. We won't get ahead of ourselves, but that's probably going to happen. Right now, over Atlanta, up around Fulton Industrial area, we have some very heavy rain coming down. Not severe at the moment, but stretching from downtown along I-20. Right now, over 285 and 20 on the west side of town, we're looking at that heavy rain. We're looking at some decent showers, not severe, east of Sandy Springs. So, yeah, you had the rain going on in Sandy Springs. Things are quiet, but that's not it. We have the main line still heading your way, and that cell we've been watching over Cobb County, sitting right over top of Marietta right now. That's also not severe. You're in the severe thunderstorm warning, but it's not because of the rain coming down right now. You still have more rain to come and the severe thunderstorms to come there on the west side of that. So that's beginning to move in to out of Paulding County, heading over toward Cobb County right now. So multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. We're now seeing these warnings go away, expire in extreme northwest Georgia. So Dade County in the clear. Walker County is in the clear as well. Dalton now, you're out of the severe thunderstorm warning. Those winds were really, really whipping up as they went through Dalton. So waiting to see if we have any. Oh, speaking of Dalton, how about this? Let's see if we can go full screen with this. This comes from my friend Joseph Brannon, who was a fine radio guy for many, many years. Still is a good radio guy, but he's not in the radio business anymore. Now he's working for a U.S. congressman. So good for you, Joseph, and thanks for this picture. Look at this. This is the Dalton Convention Center. The doors have blown off the place. So like I was saying, we were just talking about those strong winds and could have been very close to 80-mile-an-hour wind gust in Dalton as that storm was moving in. And there it is. There's evidence of that strong wind that blew those doors in. How about that at the Dalton Convention Center? Wow. Joseph, again, thank you for that. Maybe one day Joseph will get back in the radio business after he's a always a big political guy. I know he's loving the job that he has right now, but he's good at anything that he's involved with. So appreciate that photo coming in. Multiple reports of trees down in Catoosa County. So got reports coming in from the EMA office there, Old Three Notch Road, Richard Drive, and Alexander Bridge Road with trees down. Also trees down in Polk County, Hutchins Mountain Road, Mountain Home Road, Wilson Road, and North College Street with trees down. And I think we're going to continue to see many tree reports or tree down damage reports coming in with those extreme winds that came into northwest Georgia. And just looking to see if we have any other damage reports to pass along and nothing else. But wow, again, I got to pull this picture up one more time here. I mean, this is just really something. Just looking at these doors that just blew in Dalton at the Dalton Convention Center. That is really amazing. All right, let's get back to the radar. And we're looking at, looks like this is going to be the strongest portion there now in western Pickens County, staying right above Highway 53. Windy road here. I know 53 very well, and that's a tough road sometimes on a sunny, clear day, but you get this kind of blinding rain, maybe some hail here, could be seeing half-inch size hail coming down over Highway 53. That makes things very treacherous, and this is continuing to move over toward Talking Rock and Jasper. So we do have that severe thunderstorm warning that covers all of Pickens County. And here's our new severe thunderstorm warning, as we thought was going to occur, that does cover all of Atlanta now. So that is going to cover downtown, midtown, all the way down to the airport, and stretching down well to the south as well. So let's pull up the info on this one. This is going to be for southeastern Paulding County, southwestern DeKalb County, Fayette County, northwestern Meriwether County, eastern Carroll County, southern Cobb County, Douglas County, northern Heard, Coweta, Clayton, and Fulton County, including the city of Atlanta. Severe thunderstorms located along a line from near Dallas to Clem near Frolona, moving east at 50 miles per hour. And this one is also going to have that considerable tag on it, so we have the potential of 70-mile-an-hour wind gust with this storm. So again, this includes the city of Atlanta, Noonan, Douglasville, Decatur, Fayetteville, Jonesboro, Franklin, South Fulton, Sandy Springs, Smyrna, Peachtree City, East Point, Union City, Forest Park, Riverdale, Villa Rica, College Park, Powder Springs, Fairburn, Chamblee, and of course the Atlanta Airport is in there as well. And that's these are the kind of storms that absolutely will cause flight delays that will impact the entire east coast of the United States, because it's hard to safely navigate a line of storms like this, especially producing those 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And the tops on these storms, let me see, these have to have really high tops. Wow, yeah, some of these are really something. Let's see, moving in from Alabama here, got a 40,000-foot top on this. So remember, your airplanes are cruising at like 35,000 feet, 37,000 feet or so. Some of them do cruise above 40, but you don't want to be cruising above this. So this is one of those lines that the airplanes avoid. Just looking up here in Paulding County above Dallas, we're showing a 41,000-foot top and 46,000 foot up here. So that's how high, you look out from a distance and you see the big puffy clouds, you see how high they reach up into the atmosphere. That's what this is showing. This is showing where the clouds themselves can be reaching higher than that, probably going all the way up to the very top of the troposphere before running out of atmosphere to deal with. But this is just showing where the reflectivity and the rain, possibility of some hail, reaching up well over 40,000 feet. And I just want to look at something else just for a second, just for my own interest here. See if we can get visible radar. Yeah, or visible satellite rather. I just wanted to see. what the cloud structures look like. A little hard to see with everything else on the screen, but I was just looking for some overshooting tops. That's the sign where those updrafts are so strong it just shoots through the troposphere. And we probably have a little bit of that going on up in Whitfield County, and again, some areas there in western Cherokee County. So I just wanted to take a look at that for just a second, again, just for my own curiosity. But looking at the radar, this is our most important piece of the puzzle here. We got another severe thunderstorm warning coming out. We'll get to that as soon as it pops up. But one after another. So again, we're connecting all of these storms together with severe thunderstorm warnings all the way up to the North Carolina line, stretching through West Metro Atlanta, and then down through Carroll County now, with multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and with the considerable tags on it. So that's important when we see that considerable tag. So really want to focus on this portion of the storm. We see how we have this bowing structure where it's pushing out. So we know we have some very strong winds pushing these storms. So the forward momentum is pretty respectable, 50, 55 miles an hour. And then the wind that's built up inside of these storms themselves, that's where we can start getting those 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts very, very easily. So let me put the time on this. We'll just put a bunch of places up here to tell you when the storm should be arriving. If it stays on its current path and speed, should be in Douglasville in the next 5 minutes, Noonan 5:38, Union City 5:47, East Point Airport area around 5:51, and we'll just see a complete stop at Hartsfield when that happens. Middle downtown Atlanta about 5:53, Forest Park 5:57. And so that just give you just some rough timing there. Our storm up to the north, let's put it here. So we're going to be seeing in about 10 minutes, we're going to see the bulk of this line moving over toward Kennesaw Mountain, Canton 540, Marietta 543, Roswell 556, Sandy Springs 557, 6 o'clock on the dot. You can set your watch by it, Alpharetta and Dunwoody. And then heading into DeKalb County, Doraville 605, Norcross, and around 609. Trees down in Douglas County at Overlook Drive, Golfers Way, and Village Entrance Road and Richardson Road got the report of some trees down. And in White, Georgia, Bartow County, report of 56-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So there you go. Be curious to see what the rest of our wind reports are going to look like once they come in. If you have any damage reports or wind updates, or you see hail, anything going on, you can post your comment here on Facebook. Also, keeping track of our YouTube channel as well. We are live on YouTube and on Facebook now, so that's good. Have multiple platforms to get the information out. Severe thunderstorm watch is in effect until 9 o'clock tonight, and so this is going to cover all of North Georgia basically, and then stretching down into parts of the mid-state as well. They extended this out just a little bit. The original watch took us down to about LaGrange, but did not include Columbus. But now Columbus, you're in there as well. And that's just as a result of that line that we're watching there in Alabama that's going to be moving your way. But this is our severe thunderstorm watch, and that does include, obviously, Atlanta. That's where the storms are moving in toward right now. Athens, Eatonton, Milledgeville, Macon is in there. As I mentioned, Columbus, and again, all of North Georgia. Augusta, maybe these storms are going to start to lose a little bit of intensity as they head your way. But or it could get extended into the CSRA. We'll watch it and see what happens. See if we can get the timing. This was the timing model that I put together a little bit earlier today. Originally, it looked like these storms were going to be moving in around 4 o'clock or so. Then we got some new data that said maybe a little bit slower, and then they sped up again. So we could have stuck with the original timing, but that's what we're looking at. And we see the storms are moving just a little bit quicker than what we're looking at here, but we should start to see these storms late tonight moving down toward extreme southeast Georgia moving toward the coastline, and things should be getting a little bit quieter after we get the solar heating out of the way and not have that factor to deal with through the evening hours. All right, let's check back in. Still the strongest of our reflectivity now, right over Jasper, and possibility of some hail. Looks like if we're picking up any hail, it's going to be just to the west of Jasper. Could be seeing quarters of an inch size hail. Talking Rock is about right here, so maybe a little bit of hail in the internal portion of this storm, a little bit more inside. This is going to be some very heavy rain falling over Jasper. Again, this is the city of Jasper in Pickens County in North Georgia, not Jasper County. I'll make sure we clarify that. Here in the state of Georgia, we make things as complicated as possible by putting the cities and the counties with the same name and spread them out just far enough to make things confusing. But that's all right. That's part of our charm here in Georgia. Checking out the North Georgia mountains. Yeah, this is really not, it looks like it's starting to fall apart a bit. Still severe, not a considerable severe thunderstorm warning, and not destructive as this part of the line was as it moved out of Alabama into Georgia around Dade County, but we're still looking at severe limits stretching into parts of western Fannin County now. And so we'll watch this, but we're seeing all these little cells pop out ahead of this storm, which is kind of pulling a little bit of that energy out of the atmosphere. And very, very heavy rain falling right over downtown Atlanta. There's the 75-85 split. And then heading up I-85, Spaghetti Junction with heavy rain. That is starting to move out, but still a little bit more rain to go, and that's tracking in toward Gwinnett County. But there in northern DeKalb County, we're looking at that heavy rain. Rain beginning to move into Scottdale, coming out of Decatur, so that's going to continue to pick up. Strong winds as well. I'm just looking here from Tucker, and then beginning to move over towards Stone Mountain. We're seeing the possibility of some very, very heavy, very, very gusty winds. A little bit of a pocket here starting to bulge out, and then also looking at that gradient where we go from nothing at all towards Stone Mountain. There's the big rock right there, and then we go to the very strong reflectivity quickly. That's another sign that you have strong winds. So northern DeKalb County, moving over toward the big rock and heading into Gwinnett County, we're going to be experiencing those strong winds. Nothing severe out in Rockdale County and Newton County, but a strong thunderstorm here. That one's producing very heavy rainfall over I-20. So traveling on I-20 is not going to be pleasant right now. Folks coming in from Augusta, heading in, got a little shower activity here just on that western edge of Newton County. Then it picks up like crazy, quiet for a few minutes, and then the real doozy just inside of 285 heading in toward Atlanta. So if you know anybody that has to take a little trip along I-20, I'd say sit tight for a little bit and let these storms pass through and do their thing. Let's look at our storms now on the southern end here in the state of Georgia, moving in right in the southern part of Carroll County. There's Rootville. This is where we had that tornado that was fairly destructive and could have been a lot worse, but still did some damage. So these folks are not really excited about any more severe weather, but that is starting to lighten up just a bit. We're seeing those storms start to move into western Coweta County. So Noonan, that's going to be moving your way. Very heavy rain and the possibility of hail. Could be seeing, it's showing what, about 3/4 of an inch. Maybe we can see it on here. Let's let this load up. There it is. There's a little hail core right here. So again, could be seeing 3/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 inch as it hits the ground. So that's some decent sized hail just to the east of Rootville, continuing to track into this extreme southeast corner of Carroll County. All right, and we'll just wait for another scan here. We've had no new severe thunderstorm warnings issued over the last few minutes, and things are starting to get a little bit easier to read. We don't have all those overlaying warnings. We had a few of them expire at 5:30, so now we're just dealing with one at a time. So 1, 2, and 3, connecting all these storms together, that entire squall line. Now from about Blairsville, getting into western Fannin County, through Pickens County and Gilmer County, beginning to approach 575 in Cherokee County. So very strong winds. It does look like here's a new warning coming out. So strong winds coming into Canton right now, right along 575. So west of 575, heavy rain. East, the rain starting to pick up, but the wind is going to be your big factor. Here's our new severe thunderstorm warning. This is attached to that strong reflectivity we've been talking about. I was saying this is really the strongest that we have on radar of anything. So this is going to be for Lumpkin County, all of Lumpkin County is in this, southeastern Gilmer County, Dawson County, northwestern Hall County, not the Gainesville, but that northwest corner, the other side of Lake Lanier from Gainesville, and Pickens County. So this goes until 6:15, showing the potential of 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and penny-size hail. So if you're in Dahlonega, Jasper, Dawsonville, Nelson, Talking Rock, the community of Doherty, Sequoia Lake, Marble Hill, Juneau, Murrayville in Hall County, Nimbleville, Tate, Garland, and War Hill Park, you're in the warning polygon. So get ready for very strong winds and again the possibility of some hail. Let's see if we can see a hail core. There we go. Right over Jasper right now. This is pretty spread out, so this isn't a real consolidated hail core like we normally see. So we could be seeing a couple little pockets of hail falling right over Jasper, and that's going to continue to track off toward the east. Let's go back to reflectivity and get the colors that make sense and pop up some times here. So this storm, okay, we don't, yeah, we're going to have to do this one the old-fashioned way, maybe. Yeah, let's do this. So this will be crossing into Dawson County in about 10 minutes. Moving through mainly northern Dawson County, close to Dawsonville, at about just before 6 o'clock, and then should be over in Dahlonega at about 6:16, it looks like. And if it holds together, crossing over the Lumpkin-White County line there in southwest White County at about 6:29. So just a little less than an hour from right now. And I don't know if it's going to be as severe as it crosses Lumpkin County into South White, North Hall County, but it's still going to be very, very strong. So just want to give you a heads up on that. Starting to get a little bright reflectivity going on again on our storms. Oh, look at that, just brightened up a little bit more. So I was just bragging on this storm, saying I thought it was about to lose a little bit of strength, but look at this, very, very strong reflectivity just above Highway 76, beginning to move in to Blairsville. And let me see if that's associated with hail, or if that's just really, really heavy. Yeah, I think that's mainly heavy rain. We may be seeing some hail with this, but I think we're just getting some very, very, very heavy rain with that part of the storm. They're just crossed over Fannin County, now moving into northwest Union County. So no rotation of concern. I'm just going to scan through our entire storm here, but strong winds. Wow. Southern Douglas County, eastern Carroll County, very, very strong winds. We're showing, let me see how high up that is. Remember, the radar's beaming up, what, 0.5 degrees angle. So further you get from the radar, the higher up the scan is. So this is about 2,400 feet, it looks like, up in the air. And we can look at the speed, 2,400 feet, and we're looking at those 55 mile an hour possible wind, pretty close to the surface. So it's very, very windy there going into Palmetto right now. And again, portions of southern Douglas County, southwest Fulton County, very, very strong winds coming in. And we don't have that considerable tag on this warning, so That's kind of interesting because I think we are seeing some really, really strong winds coming off of these cells. But just a standard severe thunderstorm warning right now. Tree down in Pickens County, about 12 miles west of Jasper on Highway 53. So we were talking about Highway 53 and watch that storm that was just to the north of 53. Then it started sliding down, and here we are. We're kind of past Jasper now, but just outside of Jasper on Highway 53, we're looking at a tree down there blocking part of the road. And multiple trees down in Murray County, Brown Bridge Road, Greason Road, Murray-Gilmer County line at Highway 282 at the Murray-Gilmer County line, Red Cut Road, Smyrna-Ramhurst Road, Carter's Dam Road, and highway, another one at 225 North at Beaverdale Road. And possible house fire in Douglas County. May have had a lightning strike. Don't have the specifics on where that is in Douglas County, but that's going to be our first report of a possible damage from lightning. Most of our damage reports, or all of them so far, have been as a result of the strong winds. Douglas County reported wind gust of 34 miles per hour. And we have trees down and a power pole broken at Tales Creek Church Road in Gilmer County. Yeah, lots of trees down in Whitfield County. Just all over the place. My goodness. I mean, this is not going to be fun to be traveling this evening and overnight tonight, because there are just, I mean, I'm looking at a report here in Whitfield County. I mean, I'll call them out for you. Mill Creek Road, Lakeshore Drive, Gulfview Drive, Old Dalton Road, Wynwood Road, Beaverdale Road, North Thornton Avenue, Highway 2, Woods Point, Robinwood Drive, Thornton Avenue, Dogwood Valley. I mentioned the Highway 2 at Lee Bryant Road. That's just in Whitfield County alone. So multiple trees down. So we can just assume that we're going to have tons of trees down all throughout northwest Georgia. In Dade, Walker, Chattooga, Murray, Whitfield, Gordon County. I'm sure we have lots of trees down. And lots of power outages as well. And if you're just joining us, I did share a picture a little bit earlier. I want to show you this again. This is the Dalton Convention Center. When those storms moved into the Dalton area, they were easily packing 70-mile-an-hour wind gust. Could have been closer to 80. And this photo coming in from my friend Joseph Brannon, who captured this, and that's really something. These doors just got blown in, and that's probably not going to be from a tornado. The Weather Service will do a damage assessment on all these storms, but this is going to be straight line winds that came in and blew these doors in. So really something there. All right, so let's revisit all of our storms. Looking at that bright reflectivity now in Union County, western Union County. Still there, looks like that lightened up a little bit, but heavy rain beginning to push into Blairsville. We have that severe thunderstorm warning in place. And we'll just kind of look down the line. Our latest severe thunderstorm warning is this polygon right here that stretches into Lumpkin and Dawson County. Does include Dahlonega and Dawsonville. So that's part of our line here, moving through Jasper, beginning to move into northwest Dawson County. We see that heavy rain coming in. Strong winds. Dawsonville, I think, is going to start picking up the wind significantly in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Heavy rain over Canton, beginning to cross 575 now. Still a little rough ride north of Canton, heading up toward the mountains on 575. So we'll get this across in about, looks like about 15 minutes. We should get that out of there. And then getting into metro Atlanta, over Cobb County, we still have some very heavy rain. Been raining for quite a while in Marietta. Heavy rain over Mableton. So this is continuing to move over toward 285. Already had this big batch of rain over 285 in downtown. This is now on the east side perimeter from basically the I-20 is kind of the cutoff here, so I-20 and 285, and then the 85, 285, Spaghetti Junction's kind of the north end, kind of blocking in our storms here. But that's not going to last long. Our storm's coming in from Sandy Springs, North Fulton. That's going to push some more rain over Spaghetti Junction here over the next few minutes, and then more rain out to the west of that. That's going to continue pushing through. And we'll check out our storms down to the south. Over Franklin right now, this looks a lot worse here on radar than it actually is. I mean, we're picking up some heavy rain, but really this is way, way below severe threshold right now over Franklin, but still picking up that rain, but the wind is starting to calm down a bit. And as we can see down into Alabama, we have no other warnings here. So this part of the line is losing quite a bit of steam. We'll see what happens as it continues pushing in closer to Georgia. I do want to look at one thing here. Let me clear the screen, and I want to take a look at what our instability looks like. Yeah, that should do it. Let's see. Oh, yeah, those are still some high numbers. So this is the energy in the atmosphere to get the storms going. Things have dropped off significantly now that the storms have pushed through here in northwest Georgia, but still looking through the mid-state, we're looking at these high numbers. You get over 1,000, over 1,500 joules per kilogram here. This is where we know we have a lot of energy in the atmosphere. So, yeah, a ton of instability. Shockingly, over the Albany area, it looks like maybe a little bit lower. But through middle Georgia, all the way down to coastal Georgia, we have a lot of energy. And let's see if we can look at, okay, so another thing we look at is looking at that helicity in the atmosphere, the rotation of the wind as we go up, and not showing much at all through parts of middle Georgia and the southeast Georgia, little dots here and there, but this is the sign that this is just not a big tornado threat. We see some higher numbers up, but the storm's already passed here in extreme northwest Georgia, so not as big of a concern. But as this line continues to push through middle Georgia towards south Georgia, there's just not a lot of that wind shear that we have to deal with. So that's some good news. Can't rule out a spin up here and there. Again, you just have to remember, every one of these storms, they are rotating somewhat. It's when that rotation tightens up and gets really strong, and the atmosphere adds to that, kind of eggs it on, so to speak. The storms are rotating themselves, but once it moves into a part of the atmosphere where you also have just the overall wind is shifting in direction, that's what gets them spinning much quicker, and that's where we can get that tornado threat. And we're just not seeing that in the atmosphere. It's just not that strong of wind shear as these storms are pushing in. So we'll see what happens. I think I mentioned earlier, I haven't seen a single tornado warning as the storms are moving out of Arkansas, West Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama. So I don't expect to see any as we continue moving through the next few hours. Now, I could be proven wrong. The storms are going to do what they want to do, but just based on what we see, not necessarily worried about it all that much. So looking up in extreme north Georgia over Blue Ridge now, we have no warning. So here's another sign. We're starting to get the atmosphere to chill out just a little bit here in extreme north Georgia. That stability starting to spread down toward the south slowly but surely. So as these storms continue to track toward the east over the mountains, heavy rain, still looking at the strong winds, but we are starting to dial back our severe possibility over in the Towns County and over into Rabun County. Now, our friends at the National Weather Service office over in Greenville, their threshold's a little bit lower. So as these storms move in closer toward Clayton and Toccoa, we may get a warning over here in Stevens and Rabun County. But they have a little different criteria for their warnings than the Atlanta office. So we'll just see what happens. But I do like to see, for the first time since we went live almost 2 hours ago, that we have a little break in our warnings here. But we still have our severe thunderstorm warnings for our storms south of Fannin County, Union County, heading down in now, starting to move into Lumpkin County, Dawson County. We see severe thunderstorms in North Metro Atlanta, North Fulton, Alpharetta, Roswell. And then right over the city of Atlanta, a little quiet spot over downtown at the moment. This big part of the storm now pushing into DeKalb, but we still have more thunderstorm activity coming in from the west side. So that's now crossing over the Fulton County line, coming out of Cobb County in the Fulton, and that will be moving over downtown and midtown as well over the next couple of minutes. So more rain to deal with there. The wind is going to be calming down quite a bit. Our main wind threat is on the front side of these storms. So once we get really in the center of the storm, it's just going to be the heavy rain that we deal with. And not a lot of hail. I only see one hail marker on radar now, and this is just, the radar can estimate storms that look like it could produce hail, and it looks like it's going to be right over Highway 53 here on the Pickens County line heading into Dawson County. So here's 53 winding through the mountains, and we have the possibility of some hail. Could be penny-sized hail there in eastern Pickens County, beginning to cross in toward Dawson County. But outside of that, let me just scan again. I don't really see, well, maybe one more around Sandy Springs. Let's take a look at that. And we may be able to pull this up. Let's see what we got. Yeah, here we go. So maybe a little hail core here. And this again could be penny size, could be a little bit larger over Sandy Springs, very close to I-285 north side perimeter there with some hail. And this one just came up actually in Gwinnett County, just to the west of Snellville. We could be picking up a possibility of some hail there as well. So starting to get a little bit more of the updraft and the possibility of these storms producing hail. But nothing in terms of rotation, so that's good news. Just kind of scanning through. Again, look for any sort of couplets. We don't see it. The strongest of our straight line winds, we had very, very bright green here on our velocity. That's starting to not be as bright, so we're showing signs that the wind is starting to calm just a bit. Still very strong wind, but not as bad as the wind was as it crossed over the Alabama line into Georgia, so we'll certainly take that. All right, more trees down, 6 trees down in Heard County, about 400 to 500 people without power in Heard County, and also some road signs are also down, and no calls for any fire trucks or ambulances in Heard County. So as for right now, that's good. Maybe we'll just deal with a few signs and a few trees down. That can get straightened out without any problem. Reports of Murray County. Some trees down Richard Bennett Road, Beaverdale Spur, Peoples Road at Holly Creek. And we had a report coming in from Cherokee County of an 89-mile-an-hour wind gust. How about that? That's incredible, and that's believable. The radar was estimating the potential of 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts, so there may have been just that right spot where that was being measured. I don't know exactly where. Yellow Creek. Okay, so they have a weather station at Yellow Creek in Cherokee County that registered an 89-mile-an-hour wind gust. That is unbelievable. It's amazing that the equipment even worked. A lot of those anemometers, they'll shut down. Wind gets above about 50 miles per hour. They say, nope, no sir. They lock down and they don't get damaged. But this particular one, that is amazing. 89 mile an hour, hurricane force. So let's take a look at our latest severe thunderstorm warning. And or do we have okay, we just had this one edited just a little bit. So not a new warning here, but a little update to our severe thunderstorm warning, basically cutting off out to the west. But Jasper, you're really on the backside of this. That main part of the storm has moved off to the east. You're still in the polygon technically, but we do have a little bit of an edit here to our storm and our warning. And we may get another one. Nope, part of the watch is going to be canceled. So we'll see what the watch looks like. I think we can probably guess where we're going to get some of the counties dropped off. Here in northwest Georgia, the threat is over. So Walker, Dade County, over to Dalton. That threat is over. Those storms have pushed down to the southeast. We'll see some of these counties get dropped off here momentarily, but still have our severe thunderstorm watch in effect for Athens all the way down to Columbus, Macon, you're in there as well, almost to Augusta, not quite, under the severe thunderstorm watch until 9 o'clock tonight. So we'll get an update on those counties that drop off here in just a bit. 3 severe thunderstorm warnings remain in play on the board. And our little pocket here of strong reflectivity potential, that hail potential just got increased a little bit, so that could be closer to quarter-size hail moving into western Dawson County, moving over towards central Dawson County. This is going to be pretty close to Dawsonville, so we could see that hail kind of offset a little bit to the southwest. So as this core moves just to the north of Dawsonville, we could see that hail threat over town over the next 10 minutes or so as that moves through. And another little upgrade to our hail core, that one that popped up fairly quickly around Snellville. Let's take a look at it on radar and see what that looks like now. There it is. Throw a couple of roads up here. Glen Mill Road, Hewott Road. This is going to be just to the west of 124, south of Highway 78, Stone Mountain Highway, moving in toward Green Valley Road. There's Springdale Road on the other side of 124. So that's a decent hail core. Again, this could be closer to an inch in diameter hail. Maybe just a little bit of hail over Stone Mountain. There's Stone Mountain right there. Clearly see it. Maybe some very small hail. A lot of that probably not reaching the ground, but it could be there. And Angela's checking in. I believe is what you are referring to. So we have the storm still severe on the eastern side of Cherokee County. So if you're west of 575, you're good. No problems anymore. If you made it through that, had those 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, had the heavy rain, you're done. The light rain right now, little heavier rain is going to move in, but nothing severe coming into western Cherokee. Now, eastern Cherokee County, and you can see 575 is kind of that dividing line. So east of 575, still looking at some decent rain. This is really our severe threat has moved out of Cherokee County. And so things are going to be quiet from here on out. But take a look at the structure of this storm coming through Forsyth County and Dawson County. See this big, the bulging out. This is really pushing through. So that's showing some strong winds coming, probably going to be just on the backside of the strongest of the wind, but getting over toward that side of Lake Lanier, Keith Bridge area. That's going to be some very, very strong wind. We see a little thunderstorm here just west of Murrayville in northwest Hall County. That's moving really right just about over Murrayville at this point. But this is where we're looking at some very, very strong winds moving over toward Lake Lanier, and that's going to continue to push in toward Gainesville. There's a new severe thunderstorm warning. We saw that pop up together. So this is as a result of really these two cells. The strongest of the two are here on the backside moving out of Sandy Springs. But as I mentioned, large hail just to the southwest of Snellville. So we do have a severe thunderstorm warning now. We'll go full screen with this and talk about it. This is going to be for northeastern Rockdale County, Barrow County, DeKalb County, eastern Cobb County, Gwinnett County, Walton County, central Fulton County, and northeastern Newton County. This goes until 6:45. Storm moving east at 50 miles per hour. We have the possibility of 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and the Weather Service not mentioning the hail threat, but there's certainly that hail core in southern Gwinnett County that we need to keep an eye on. This does include Atlanta north, all the way up in the Sandy Springs, to the northwest to Marietta, Decatur, Conyers, Winder, Monroe, Covington, Peachtree Corners, Sandy Springs, Roswell, Smyrna, Dunwoody, Duluth, Snellville, Lilburn, Loganville, Chamblee, Norcross, and Doraville. You're in the warning polygon. No talk of a tornado. We don't even have a tornado possible tag on this, but just the possibility of some hail and the 60-mile-an-hour wind gust with this storm. Let's put this in motion. And there you go. You can see this moving, again, about 50 miles per hour. So not taking its sweet time. It's actually moving at a pretty good quip. So It'll rain like crazy. It'll get quiet for a little bit. Then you'll see another little round of rain because we kind of have these two concurrent cells here rolling with each other. It looks like they're starting to close in on each other just a bit, and that'll be a good thing. We'll start to see the cell weaken as it heads toward Barrow and Walton counties, Morgan County. If those will come together, we may get a little bit of weakening. So let's pause this and take a look at some locations here of where the storm is. Current time is 5:58, so we're over Tucker right now. Heading over Stone Mountain at 6:02, Lilburn 6:04, Snellville 6:12, Grayson at 6:16, Loganville around 6:20, Monroe 6:33, Bethlehem 6:33, same time. And then beginning to move into western Clark County, heading out of Barrow County and the Clark County and the Bogart around 6:46. And if it holds together, it stays on track, Oconee County, Watkinsville at about 6:53. All right. Let's take a look at the, just looking at the big picture, because I kind of want to see what's coming our direction. And notice no severe thunderstorm warnings inside Alabama. So this line is starting to lose a lot of its definition and just getting really, really puny here as it continues to track over toward I-85 here in eastern Alabama. So that's going to be some good news for the folks in Columbus. Still going to be windy when these storms come through, but maybe we'll keep the severe threat out of there. And then looking up toward the north, nothing severe on our counties here bordering Tennessee and North Carolina. So we have a break in the action here, and also heading up into Tennessee, we have no severe thunderstorm warnings. So a sign that we're getting a little bit of that stability starting to push toward the south. That's good. That's pretty surprising. It's only 6 o'clock. We still have, an hour and a half or 2.5 hours of sunlight left. So good news that we're getting a little bit of weakening with these storms. Instability starting to die down just a little bit, but it's right here in this core, this center part of the line, is where we still have our 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. So just an indication of this is the part that we're really going to be focusing on. Once you get south of Atlanta, we see the thunderstorms are there, crossing I-85 just above LaGrange, down around West Point. We see these storms still tracking off toward the east, but not severe, so that's good, losing a little bit of definition. We have some cells popping out ahead of everything. Let's just kind of look at those. Heading out of Jasper County into northwest Putnam County, we see a decent little thunderstorm here. Thunderstorm over I-20, really from about Buckhead over to the Greensboro exit. This is just north of Lake Oconee with these 2 cells. And then up in Morgan County, some cells up north of Madison, up 441. So these are going to be good things. As long as we can keep them from going severe and doing anything that they shouldn't do, that's actually going to pull some of the energy out of the atmosphere. So this is helping stabilize the atmosphere somewhat, a little rain-cooled air. And as long as we don't have a lot of sunshine pop out in between, we should keep the atmosphere somewhat, I just don't want to use the word tame because it's still a lot of instability out there, but this is helping to pull some of that out. So that's at least some good news. Looking at a couple of cells here on the Hancock-Washington County line. So just above Worthern in northern Washington County, we see these cells southeast of Sparta. Nothing severe, but just a couple little cells there taking advantage of that warm, humid air and the instability. Lots and lots of trees down. Got more reports coming in. Pickens County, May Road at Yellow Creek, and that's where we had that 89 mile an hour wind gust report, which is just unbelievable. Ray Mountain Road, Bear Court, Green Road, Refuge Road, Lawson Federal Road, Highway 515 at 369 in Pickens County, Davis Road. Those are our reports coming in from trees down there in Pickens County. And the good part of Refuge Road at Thrasher Lane in Pickens County is blocked due to that tree down. About 15,000 customers without power in Douglas County. And let's see if we can get a little more information on our power outages. Charles checking in from Big Canoe. I bet, man, I bet that wind was wild up there. I don't know if there's any way you had a chance to measure it, but very easily could have been breaking 70-mile-an-hour gusts, getting closer to 80 in Big Canoe. So hopefully everything's all right up in your way and didn't have any significant damage, because you could see it on radar that wind was whipping, and you get on those higher elevations and it gets wild. Taylor checking in about the Shady Dale Rodeo. That's right. That was yesterday and today, the rodeo in town. Let's see what's going on in Shady Dale. Oof, gonna be muddy out there, isn't it? So here you go. There's Shady Dale. The rodeo arena is right there. And we had that cell that moved through just a few minutes ago, and that pushed right over the top. Luckily, the heaviest of that rain stayed just to the south of the arena. So it's muddy, but isn't it always muddy? I mean, it seems like it always rains out there this time of year for the rodeo, but I think you walk on over there and head on over and see what happens, because on the back side of this, it's pretty quiet. Yeah, we do have this line coming in. We have a ways to go before it gets there. Let me see if I can time it out for you. I'll do my best. We'll go full screen with this, maybe. Hang with me just a second. I know we have a lot of folks in that area that want to know what's going on with the weather. I think you're going to be all right. I really do. That second line, now we could get something else that pops up in between, but I'm just measuring from this part of the line, which is roughly going to be where the storms are going to come from. So let me place the marker there and back this up a couple of frames. And we'll time it from here. And put the storm track there. Okay, so if this holds together, but we're seeing a lot of breaks, this is going to be moving in to northern Jasper County in about a half hour. Could be over Shady Dale in about 35 minutes or so from right now, but we're going to watch some breaks there. So just enjoy yourself, but then just know that kind of watch out for things over the next half hour, and we'll see how this line holds together. It still has a lot of real estate to travel before it gets there, so it helps. All right. Do have an extension of our severe thunderstorm warning. And so obviously this is right over our same polygon we had. This just pushes it out to the east, now including Cleveland and Claremont, Gainesville North, up to Rabbittown, Lula's in there. So Lumpkin County, northwestern Banks County, southern White County, southeastern Dawson County, northern Hall County. Severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30. We have the possibility of 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Could see hail, maybe penny-sized hail with this. So as I mentioned, Gainesville, just north of town, up Thompson Bridge, but not downtown Gainesville. You're not in the warning polygon, but north of Gainesville. And then heading up toward Quillen's Corner and Claremont, you're in there. Gillsville, Cleveland, Dawsonville, Lula, Alto, Murrayville, Mossy Creek, War Hill Park, McKee, Nimbleville, you are in the warning polygon. Garland and Leaf, Georgia. Where's Leaf, Georgia? Leaf is right here. Eastern White County. There's Cleveland. And you have the wonderful community of Leaf. If you've never been to Leaf, Georgia, tell you what, you are missing out. But they're under the severe thunderstorm warning, so don't go now. We'll wait for the weather to clear. And the best time to go to Leaf is in the fall, when the leaves are turning. So, a little word association there, right? Leaf and the leaves, all right. Rarely get to talk about that part of the world, but we can do it today because we have our severe thunderstorm warning. So this is going to be cruising through southern White County. So from Cleveland right up to about Babyland, General, Cleveland, and then stretching on down, as I mentioned, to Claremont, Quillen's Corner, all the way over to Lula. Gillsville is in this as well. getting into a western Banks County, almost to Homer, but not quite. But Homer, I think that storm's going to be moving your way as well and still be packing quite a punch. Looking at the way that the storm is bulging out, a little surprised that the warning it didn't drop down into more of Gainesville, because this does look very, very windy. So we're seeing the bulk of the wind really in this northern part of Hall County over Lake Lanier right now, pushing into Gainesville, west side of Gainesville, and still going to be very windy on the southern end of the bulge, so into Oakwood and down toward Flowery Branch. It's still going to be windy, but not severe. Our severe portion is going to be right here in southwest Lumpkin County. Moving into Dahlonega right now, we'll be continuing to push through Lumpkin, as I mentioned, South White, North Hall County, and then over into Banks County. Habersham County is under the jurisdiction of the Greenville office, so we'll see if that gets extended there for right now. But that's why our polygon is not a perfect shape, because the Atlanta office can't make that call for Greenville. They have to do that. So that portion of southern Habersham, including Clarksville or Cornelia down to Baldwin, almost to Clarksville, could get extended down the road. We'll just wait and see. We may have an update on our severe thunderstorm watch. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, there we go. Let's clear everything off of here. We'll get a little better view of that. So what has changed? We have this corner of northwest Georgia now in the clear. So Rome, Calhoun, Trenton, you are now clear of the severe thunderstorm watch. The rest of our area in yellow, including all of northeast Georgia, all the way down south of I-20 to Macon to Columbus, you remain in the watch until 9 o'clock tonight. So we'll keep an eye on that. But again, once you get this line passing through, there's nothing else on the backside. Everything is quiet for the next several hours. Looks like we're going to have another round of thunderstorms overnight tonight, but that's going to take on a whole different shape and form. But our main severe weather risk that we're dealing with this evening, that once it pushes through, things are going to be pretty quiet. So we can take a look at the modeling and just see if it's worth anything looking out. These storms moved a little bit quicker than planned. They were actually pretty close to what the model was looking like yesterday. Then we got some updated information this morning. It looked like it was going to move in a little slower, and then it got the speed going back on it again. And let me see if we can, how close this is. So it's 6 o'clock now. Let's see. Yeah, this storms are outrunning the models just by about an hour. So this is showing 7, but this kind of is what it looks like right now. So it's outrunning by about 30 minutes to an hour. So we'll just kind of use our imagination here. 7 o'clock should look a little more like this over Athens, down into Eatonton, possibly into Macon and Milledgeville by about 7, 8 o'clock, starting to move in toward Augusta. We see a very disconnected part of the line down here in parts of southeast Georgia. A few of these storms could be strong to severe, but that's not really associated with this main squall line, so I think this is just going to bring some shower activity that's not necessarily severe. And then as we move toward midnight or so, everything should be getting pretty quiet. Maybe a few little cells trying to hold together. This looks like over Claxton, near Statesboro, beginning to move out towards Savannah later tonight. And then things are pretty quiet. And let's go through the overnight hours. As I mentioned, we have some more activity out here to our west. We see these thunderstorms in Alabama, so we'll watch that. And this could be moving into parts of North Georgia, maybe about 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. We see these thunderstorms spread out. Some could go strong to severe. We'll be watching these cells coming in from Montgomery, heading over and toward Columbus and LaGrange. And then moving through the day tomorrow, we see our cluster. This is called an MCS. This is what we're dealing with today, multi-cellular system that's moving in. And this is going to be another one of those MCS systems stretching from Montgomery all the way over to Columbus, Georgia. So we could see a few severe storms out of this. And that's, again, around mid-morning tomorrow, and then through the heat of the day tomorrow, we'll see those thunderstorms pop up. We're going to have more cloud cover tomorrow, which is going to help keep our temperatures down a bit, help keep a little bit of that solar heating on the surface down. So that'll be some good news at least. It'll be a cloudy day, not a great day tomorrow, but the clouds will actually help us out a little bit in terms of our severe weather issues. All right, another severe thunderstorm warning now just being issued. And this is part of our big mess of storms here. That's coming out of metro Atlanta, now continuing to track to the east. So this is going to be for Oconee County, Barrow County, northwestern Morgan County, east central Gwinnett County, Clark County, and Walton County, as well as southwestern Madison County, western Oglethorpe County, and southern Jackson County. This goes until 7 o'clock. Our severe thunderstorms from about Lawrenceville to Ebenezer moving east at 60 miles per hour. We have the possibility of 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts with these storms, and maybe some hail as well. Could be up to 3/4 of an inch in diameter. So the storms right over Lawrenceville right now, moving into Winder. So you're in there. Monroe, you're in. Jefferson, Watkinsville, Lexington, Athens, Clark County, Loganville, Auburn, Decula, Social Circle, Grayson, Statham, Arcade, Nicholson, Winterville, Bogart, Crawford, North High Shoals, and Bethlehem. Severe thunderstorm warning for you until 7 p.m. And so some good news on this. We do not have the considerable tag, so that means 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. When we came on the air a little earlier, just after 4 o'clock, we had a warning that had a destructive tag on it, and that was up in northwest Georgia, up in the Dade-Walker County area, and we're seeing the damage reports coming in as a result of that. So we haven't had a destructive tag since. That's good. The next level down is the considerable, and all three of our warnings here, they do not have the considerable tag on it. So that's also good news, showing that these storms are starting to lighten up just a bit. Still severe, still the potential of damaging winds, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, nothing to laugh about. So we have to take these storms seriously. Just hoping we get a little better track on this. Yeah, we'll have to, we're basically just getting just a little piece of the storm here to show our track, but I'll call out a few of these locations for you. So Good Hope is storms right on top of you right now, moving into Bostwick over the next couple of minutes. Bethlehem 619 as well as North High Shoals. Watkinsville 626 and should be over Athens probably about 6:30. About 15 minutes from right now, we'll get the bulk of the storm over Athens. And moving into Oglethorpe County, Arnoldsville at 6:36, Crawford 6:39, over the one traffic light in all of Oglethorpe County and Crawford. And then into Lexington around 6:41. If it holds together, we'll be in Washington at 7:01. And a pretty good ways to go for this cell to move into Washington-Wilkes. So we may see this lighten up quite a bit, but we'll still have some strong winds moving in to Wilkes County and some heavy rain in the next 45 minutes. But I think it's going to be looking a lot better because these storms are ratcheting down just a bit, slowly but surely, as they move through. Our strongest part of the reflectivity coming in right just to the east of I-85, just above Highway 316. There's 316 that goes into Athens. We're looking at the strong reflectivity just across I-85 between Lawrenceville and Sewanee and Gwinnett County. And maybe, let's see what the hail estimate is on that. That's showing 0.6 inches, so close to half-inch size hail up in the atmosphere. Doesn't necessarily mean that's what's coming down, but we could be seeing some penny-size hail right there again above 316 east of I-85 in Gwinnett County. And we have a couple of the county EMA offices. They're basically saying we're just going to wait and give you a bunch of our damage reports all at once instead of going one by one because there are just so many of them. So Pickens County, dozens and dozens of trees down. Creeks Bend Drive in Ringgold, and power lines down in Pickens County at Avery Drive and Little Creek Drive. So a majority of our reports are coming in northwest Georgia. Had a couple of reports down toward Carroll County, but most of our reports are in that Pickens County, Gilmer County, heading out toward Gordon County. A lot of reports in Walker County coming in, so this is where our big wind reports are, wind damage reports are coming in. Look at the backside of the storm. This is kind of interesting how we kind of have this reverse bow effect. I don't know. I may have to take a screenshot of that and save that for looking at, pondering at another time. I'll go ahead and save that right now. But yeah, this is very interesting. We have kind of a reverse bowing effect, and I don't want to say that's a result of the jet pushing the wind down in there, but it sure looks like it could be. Usually it's not that large. This may just be the luck of the draw of how the storms are, but if you have a little bit of a smaller area of weak area bowing in, that's a mid-level jet that comes through, pushes down toward the surface, and then ends up pushing the rain forward and push that reflectivity forward. But that could be a really strong jet coming in on the back side of that, causing that bowing effect. But that's really fascinating to look at. Again, I took a screenshot. I'll print it out and put it in the scrapbook. That's the kind of stuff I collect. You're a weather nerd. Those are the kind of things that are interesting. Got a decent cell over Tallulah Falls and the Gorge, moving out of Habersham, Rabun County, moving in to the upstate of South Carolina. So some very heavy rain there. Maybe, I'm not showing the hail marker on that, so I'm not sure if that's producing hail. That's just probably very heavy rain with that isolated cell. Checking back in Hall County. Gainesville, the main wind threat is over. Rain still coming down pretty good, but very windy in extreme East Hall County along the Banks County line. Lula, County Line Road, we got some very strong winds blowing in right now, so that's going to continue to move out in toward the Maysville area and into Homer. So here's Maysville. So again, that windy down in there, Gillsville. So very, very windy here coming into western Banks County, and that wind's going to be a big factor. Homer, and especially north of Homer, heading up 441 up toward the Habersham-Banks County line. That's going to be very windy. I think we may see a severe thunderstorm warning issued here shortly for portions of Habersham, possibly Stevens County, just as a result of this line. The only reason it doesn't extend out, I mentioned a little earlier that this is part of the Greenville office. This warning's coming out of Atlanta, so the two they don't cross over. They have to take care of their own warnings. So we'll see what happens for northern Banks, southern Habersham County. Could get a warning up there here shortly. But our severe thunderstorm warned storm, again looking at a few locations here. Should be moving in toward Watkinsville at about 6:26. Roughly the same time for Athens, maybe a little bit closer to 6:30 to get right in the middle of Athens. But heading into Bogart area, let me see if we can get as close as I can to Bogart. What about, well, the front end of that says about 3 minutes from right now. So yeah, in the next 3 minutes, moving in out of Barrow County into western Clark County. Going to be in the mall area, possibly closer to 6:30 or so, roughly. And then, as I mentioned, over downtown Athens and UGA, well, possibly starting in less than 10 minutes. But the bulk of that's going to take a little bit longer. This center part of the storm, where we're possibility of that hail, going to be probably between 6:30 and 6:40, 6:45 or so, right over Athens and UGA, and then heading out toward Winterville. Going to be another 15, 20 minutes or so to deal with that. And watching our cell down in Putnam County, that has moved through Eatonton. Strong reflectivity coming back here, maybe a little bit of hail associated with that. Other than that, just some heavy rain, not severe. And the Shady Dale Rodeo going on. Everything's quiet, but here's another line that's coming in. So as I mentioned, we're about 20 minutes away from that coming in. So hopefully this will settle down before getting into Shady Dale, but we'll watch it. You can see this part of the line that came across I-85. It was pretty strong on the other side of I-85. Once across I-85, it just really falling apart. So there's not much going on at all with that part of the line going through Spalding County, through Henry County. And we're kind of hoping that will start to break up here a little bit more in this corner of the system as well as it moves toward Jasper County and northern Butts County. All right, so let me check in with any other comments. Yeah, I hope I didn't steer you wrong, Taylor. Again, that rain could come back down again with that second line. We're keeping our fingers crossed, or at least it doesn't go severe. And we welcome everyone checking us out on YouTube as well. Facebook has been our place for severe weather coverage for several years, and YouTube from time to time, and now we've got everything worked out where we're able to send the streams up very easily to both platforms. And that's great tool to have. So we appreciate whichever way you're checking us out. And any comments, any questions, always love to hear from you. What's next? A lot of people want to know what's going to be happening for the rest of the night. Well, on the backside of this, everything's quiet for a while until very early tomorrow morning. Through the overnight hours, we're going to see another line of storms move through. Not so sure if they're going to be severe. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. It's really hard for the atmosphere to get recharged in the overnight hours without the solar heating. So we'll see some more rain, a few thunderstorms through the overnight hours. Anything goes severe, of course, I'll let you know about it. But this particular line continues to weaken as it moves to the southeast. So this is going to eventually make it into Augusta in the next couple of hours. And this southern part of the line, I mean, it is just fizzling so quickly. We have one discrete cell here just to the west of Eufaula, Alabama. So this thing is trying as hard as it can to get something going. So there's Clayton, Alabama. So that is moving toward the Georgia state line. Pretty good cell there, but not severe. But outside of that, the southern end of this line is pretty much unrecognizable. Once you cross the state line right over I-85 going into Alabama, look, there's just nothing left. So that's a good sign that this is starting to come apart a bit. All right, another severe thunderstorm warning coming out, and this one is going to be just capturing a little bit of the northern part of our warning that we had here. So this is going to be our additional warning. I'll go full screen with this so you can see it a little bit closer. This is going to be for northwestern Barrow County, northeastern Gwinnett County, south central Hall County, and Jackson County. This does include Jefferson, Commerce, Buford, Brazelton, Auburn, Decula, Maysville, Arcade, Nicholson, Houston, Pendergrass, Talmo, the Peach State Speedway area, Thompson's Mill, Chateau Alon, Apple Valley, and Hog Mountain. This warning goes until 7:15, so we have the potential of 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. We also have a hail potential on this one, penny-sized hail most likely. And we are showing a hail marker right on the Barrow-Gwinnett County line. And that's showing maybe 1/4 of an inch, so very, very small hail possible there just above Auburn. Let me point this out for you, a little hard to see. So right there, very close to I-85, again, just above Auburn, maybe seeing a little bit of hail. And so that could be pushing on in, possibly just south of Jefferson if that hail core holds in place. So really, this is just an extension to the north of our existing warning that we have here that covers Athens, Watkinsville, down the Bishop, over to Lexington and Crawford and Oglethorpe County. So just a little part of this storm looked a little bit stronger than you want to be comfortable with. So Weather Service adding on to our warning here, so giving us an additional severe thunderstorm warning, which basically covers Jefferson and Commerce and that part of Jackson, Banks County. Again, a little piece of Gwinnett County. The storm is moving out of Gwinnett at this point, going through Barrow, heading through Jackson and Banks counties. All right, let's see what else we have. Oh, my goodness. Lots of reports coming in. While I'm looking through that, I'll just put the radar in motion here in the background. You can see the way these storms are going. 2 houses, looks like they've been struck by trees in Gilmer County, and about a quarter of the county without power at this point. So about 5,000 power outages in Gilmer County. In Catoosa County, tree in the roadway at Highway 41 and Boofer Road in Ringgold. Coweta County is reporting 2,500 power outages. And those are the latest reports. So again, I'm sure we're not even getting the tip of the iceberg on all the storm reports and all the trees that are down. At this point, you know, we could be getting into the hundreds of trees down very, very easily because these are just the reports that are coming in and reports that involve roadways, roadway blockages and all that. So this is going to be a real big storm to clean up after for sure. All right, new severe thunderstorm warning, and no surprise here, we're already talking about this coming out of the Greenville office. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning for Franklin County, Stevens County, and southern Habersham County until 7:15. So this does include Cornelia, Toccoa, Carnesville, Baldwin, Livonia, Gumlog, Demorest, Mount Airy, Alto, and Cannon. And we're looking at this storm moving east at 40 miles per hour. So slowing up just a little bit, about 8 miles to the northwest of Homer, around Alto, and moving east at 40 miles per hour. So let's see if we can get some times on this storm. And we're gonna get close. Going to be in the Toccoa area. I can't put the marker on Toccoa, but let me just kind of estimate it here. About 19-20 minutes from right now should be over Toccoa. Going to be in Carnesville. Again, I can't put the marker right over it, but I'll get close. About 25 minutes from right now. Livonia in about 34 minutes at 7:04. Going to be moving in toward Reed Creek, northern Hart County. Now, Hart County, you're not in the warning yet, but the storm holds together, and we expect it will. Should be moving your way at about 7:19, and around Hartwell at about 7:20, about the same time. So still very fascinated with this bowing section of the storm, not showing a big inflow coming in on the backside of this, but we know it's there because we can see our reflectivity bowing out, this bow echo that we call it. So we know that wind is just really pushing through, very, 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 very extreme. And especially when you get to the edge and then you go north, this is where we see the strongest of the wind. Decent wind coming in to northern Jackson County, heading in toward Commerce, no doubt about it. That's strong wind for sure. But once you get in this northern side of that bow, that's where we really, really see that strong wind whipping through. So that's going into southern Habersham County. There's Baldwin, Cornelia. The airport is right there in the Baldwin area. So no small planes flying out of the AJR Airport, Habersham County Airport for sure, with that big wind gust coming through. And that's going to continue moving into Stevens County. And pretty good wind going to be coming into Toccoa. Strong winds, especially south of Toccoa, around East Denali and Avalon. We'll be experiencing the strong winds, and right over I-85 there near the Franklin-Hart County line will be impacted by the wind as well. And just checking in, we have no other warnings here coming along. No new warnings anyway. Our latest is for portions of Franklin, Stevens, and Habersham County in northeast Georgia. And then we have our additional severe thunderstorm warning that is added to our warning that we had that covers Athens down into Oconee County and Watkinsville out to Winder Barrow. That just extended up to the north. Basically, the storm's pushing through Houston at this point, heading up I-85, Jefferson Commerce area. And we've been watching this little cell. Looks like this is split now. The left mover here went over Eatonton. We got a little right mover, so this is going to continue to bear down in the western Hancock County, but nothing severe, but some very heavy rain here moving through eastern Putnam County. Going to be around Texas Chapel area. Shoulder Bone, going to be picking up some heavy rain and probably pretty good little downburst of wind with that. Isolated storms out in Gibson, Glasscock County, moving into northern Jefferson County. This will be heading over toward Rennes, just above Jefferson County High School, it looks like. And then heading down towards Swainsboro. Got a decent little cell here that's popped up. So we know that there's that instability in the atmosphere, plenty of heat and humidity. Let's take a look at our temperatures as of this hour. Look at that rain-cooled air. We have our 70-degree reading coming out of Carrollton. So pretty cool compared to the rest of the state. There we go. Let's update that. So yeah, 68 degrees out of Canton, but still 91 at the Macon Airport. Vidalia's at 91. And we have 91 at Albany Regional Airport checking in at 91. So very, very warm temperatures, 93 degrees over in, let's see, that's Sylvania. Yeah, just south of Sylvania here. Statesboro checking in at 93. So warm, humid, unstable air will help those cells develop over the next several hours. And let's clear this off. Take a look at our watch. Yeah, everything's still the same. We mentioned a number of counties here in northwest Georgia, West Georgia have been dropped from the watch. But we still have our watch over Metro Atlanta, stretching down in toward Eatonton, Milledgeville, Macon, and then down to Columbus until 9 o'clock tonight. Another severe thunderstorm warning coming out. Let's take a look at it. Is this one it? That's it right there. Okay, so severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Oconee County, Morgan County, southeastern Walton County, Greene County, western Tolliver County, southwestern Oglethorpe County, and northeastern Newton County. Until 7:15, Doppler radar indicating severe thunderstorm over Brick Store around Covington, moving east at 45 miles per hour. We do have 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible with this storm. So if you are in Covington, Madison, Greensboro, Social Circle, Union Point, Rutledge, Bostwick, Woodville, White Plains, Siloam, Maxey's, Buckhead, Vesey, Rayswood, Greshamville, Parks Mill, Swartz, Penfield, Appalachia, Robinson, you are in the severe thunderstorm warning polygon. And let me see, check another thing here on this speed. It says 45. It may be moving just a little bit faster than 45 miles per hour, but roughly 45. So we have strong winds. We see our Boeing section of the storm. So again, a good sign that we have strong winds here right along I-20, beginning to move into western Morgan County. So get ready for strong winds in Madison, and especially just around I-20. The Madison exit at I-20 and then north is where you're really going to experience the strong wind. And again, we're kind of watching Shady Dale because we got a big event going on there, the Shady Dale Rodeo, and we are seeing that line holding together. We're not in the warning polygon there in Jasper County, but that is going to be moving in and bringing some heavy rain. I just want to look at our other radar. Yeah, the other radar is showing this a little bit weaker than what it looks like here, but still that rain is going to be moving in, but nothing severe at the moment. Hopefully we're still on the air. Just had a little power flick here at our studio, and it looks like we're still streaming, so that's good news. The water cooler checking in from Washington Wilkes. Thank you so much for all you do and spreading the word about what's going on. And we've got a little cell that's starting to move in to western Wilkes County, right on the Oglethorpe County line, south of 78. That's not severe, and the severe warning has not been extended into Wilkes County yet, but we're starting to see this spread out just a bit. So I still think we need to keep a close eye on that, and if everything holds together, this bulk of the storm will be in Washington just around 7 o'clock. So still a little ways to go, and a lot for this storm to do to transition before it gets into Washington Wilkes. But the timing, again, we have a cell way out ahead of this, so it's already raining beginning to move over toward Kettle Creek area, but nothing severe at the moment. Our severe storms still about 20 minutes or so out from really getting into Wilkes County, so we'll watch out for that. Vicki, thank you for checking us out. My pleasure. Glad to keep you all posted what's going on. Caitlin checking in from the Conyers, Covington area. And I believe the worst is, yeah, you're the worst in Conyers anyway, is done. We've got a little bit of a quiet time right now. We do have some light rain that will be moving in on the backside of that, but nothing at all severe. This rain that's coming over Atlanta right now that's going to push through in the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. And then the bulk of the severe storm is through Covington as well. So that is continuing to push off to eastern Newton County, beginning to move out toward Morgan County and in the southern Walton County area. So Covington, everything's getting pretty quiet, but heavy rain is starting to move in toward the New Bern area, again into western Morgan County, and very strong winds. We see our storm here bulging out, pushing in toward Rutledge. So that's some very fierce wind there right over I-20, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, very easy with that part of the line. And just looking at, just looking for some signs of hail. And do we not have a single hail marker? It doesn't look like we do. Let me just look at something else here. Yeah, our best chance of hail right now is going to be with this cell. It's right over extreme northern Tolliver County. So I was mentioning the Oglethorpe-Wilkes County line. It's actually where Tolliver County juts up there just a little bit, claims a little bit of a land. I'm sure an old farming dispute or something caused that, but this is where we have the potential of hail, but not all that great. So if anything's happening, maybe some very, very small hail, and it could be offset just a little bit to the southwest of this line, so maybe into extreme northeast Greene County, but over that little piece of Tolliver County, and that could be pushing in again into southwest Wilkes County. But no warnings for Wilkes County yet, but this should stay be just north of Ficklin Depot. There's Washington, and this particular cell will stay south of Rail, and it's just south of the airport there in Wilkes County. But then the bulk of that's going to come in. It's going to bring a lot of rain, going to bring some wind. It does look like I really have to turn off the polygons to get the good view, that this is spreading out quite a bit. Just look at how this is not as focused and concise as our storms here that move through Covington, moving into Morgan County, northern Jasper County. This is really spreading out. So that's a sign that we're getting a little bit more stability starting to build up. That's good. Instability, bad. Stability, good. And still heavy rain, a lot of wind involved there, but I think we're going to see this continue to weaken a bit as it tracks toward the east. Now moving into Athens, moving in toward the Winterville, east side of Athens, Clark County. That heavy rain's going to be picking up. Looking at the Boeing section, so much easier to see when we turn those polygons off. We see these Boeing sections a lot easier. So here's another side of it pushing in, out of Banks County into Franklin County. So some strong winds around Plainville, beginning to move in toward Carnesville. And then that wind's going to be pretty strong because we're going to be on the northern side of that bow as it moves in toward Livonia and Gumlog. And winds, as I mentioned, Toccoa and really south, east Denali, Avalon, it's going to be windy over the next 15 to 20 minutes. So let's put the polygons back on again. And if you're just joining us and you're wondering what's happening around the rest of the state, I'll tell you what, let's look at the low-res radars. We can just get a view of what's happening all over the place. All the activity is east of Atlanta, getting into the Athens area, up toward Toccoa. So this is where all of our warnings are. We have no other severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings anywhere else in the state. Pretty decent cell that is hanging on for dear life, moving toward Columbus, Georgia, probably going to be just to the south around Casita. And then we have those isolated thunderstorms throughout a good part of south and southeast Georgia. Our power flickering again here at the studio. We have so many battery backups. I'm just hoping everything is going to stay online. In theory, if the power goes off, we should be able to stay up for about 3 hours. You won't see me on the screen anymore, but in theory. But you never know until it actually happens. So we'll hopefully be able to stay here with you. Pretty decent cell down around Jessup, Georgia. Not severe. But this is just an indicator. You have these temperatures in the low 90s, a lot of humidity, our dew point between 70 and 75, so very warm, humid air, all in South Georgia, Southeast Georgia, and that's allowing all these cells to pop up without any problem whatsoever. All right, I think we have another warning, or maybe we have part of the watch. Something is happening. Okay, more storms from the watch are going to be removed. So I'll pass that along to you. I don't think any surprise of where those counties are going to be. This is our main squall line, really riding along I-85 at this point. So for the most part, northwest of I-85, everything is going to be in the clear. Now, technically speaking, Habersham County still getting hit pretty hard. That's moving into Stevens County, and you have the warning there, but that's going to continue to cross and eventually move toward I-85. So once you get to Commerce exit at I-85, the Tanger Outlet Center is there, and then stretch on down I-85 from there, the bulk of the severe weather is on the other side of you. So just to give you a little sigh of relief if you're in northwest Georgia, northwest metro Atlanta, or Atlanta itself. Nothing severe is going to come out of this at all. This is going to be rain that's going to continue to come down over the next hour. And this part of the line was looking pretty ominous on our models. It showed that it was going to hold together a lot stronger than it has, but it is just really coming apart. We see you can connect the dots if you try, but nothing severe there, and those are just some pretty garden variety thunderstorms down in that part of the state, heading over toward Thomaston, Upson County, Pike County, Zebulon, seeing some showers, but nothing severe. A little light rain there in Meriwether County as well. All right, just checking in with any other comments. Let's see, any other storm reports. Walton County had a power outage for about 15 minutes, but they're back up in the Split Silk community there in Walton County. Lots of trees down in Doraville and Dunwoody, DeKalb County. So, yeah, the wind took a toll on the metro as well. So not only do you need to stay off the roads if you can in northwest Georgia, but DeKalb County, stay home. And several power outages reported there as well as a result of those trees down in DeKalb. Got John Burris Road in Forsyth County with a tree blocking both lanes of the road there. And as I mentioned, just almost countless numbers of trees down once you get up in the Pickens County area, Gilmer County. We've got a report now of 30 to 35 trees down in Coweta County. And there is an accident on I-85 and possible entrapment in that accident there on I-85. So I hate to hear that. Hopefully that person's going to be okay and can get out of there without a problem. Let's see what else we have here. Where is this? I have a video here maybe I can pull up. The city of Jefferson. Yeah, the fire department, they have a really cool, see if we can go full screen with this. So there you go. So this is the city of Jefferson fire department, and they have this live cam up quite often. Sometimes it goes down due to some really bad winds and severe weather, but it is up and live right now as of 6:47. And there's a good shot of the courthouse there. You have Highway 129 coming into town, and you can see that camera is wobbling a little bit from the winds that are still whipping through Jackson County. Tree over here really going wild, and cloudy skies, and rain still coming down. But that wind is very noticeable here on the webcam, and the main part of the storm has passed over Jefferson at this point, so moving through eastern Jackson County. Pull it up here on radar. You can see Jefferson's in the middle of the screen. Get there into southeast Jackson County, around the South Jackson Elementary School. That's where we're picking up some very heavy rain there. Again, right over Highway 129, beginning to push into the northern part of Athens-Clarke County. But still some pretty good wind there showing up on the webcam. Appreciate the Jefferson Fire Department for allowing us to tap into their feed there for a moment. Trees down in Forsyth County, 3500 block of Looper Lake Road. Oh, that's in Hall County. So near the Forsyth County line there. So multiple trees down. And that happened about a half hour ago. All right. And new severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah, that's sorry to hear that. Again, we've been talking about the rodeo, and someone asked me about it, and I wanted to talk about that in Shady Dale, and there's that storm bearing right down. It didn't weaken. It held together, so it is severe. So we do have a severe thunderstorm warning now for northwestern Baldwin County, southern Morgan County, Putnam County, northwestern Hancock County, southeastern Greene County, northeastern Jones County, and Jasper County until 7:30. Showing that line of severe thunderstorms from near Rutledge to Shady Dale, near Turtle Cove, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Have the possibility of 60-mile-an-hour wind gust with this storm. So that does include Shady Dale, Monticello, Phoenix, White Plains, Harmony, Warfield, Reynolds at Lake Oconee, Oconee Springs Park, you're in that. New severe thunderstorm warning going to be as a result of that lone cell. This is the first cell that we have had a warning on that's not associated with the main squall line. So this is our first discrete cell that has prompted a severe thunderstorm warning. So how about that? So that goes for southwestern Warren County, Hancock County, southwestern Glasscock County, and north central Washington County until 7:15. We're showing that cell over, looks like just south of Devereaux, moving into Sparta, moving east at 35 miles per hour. And so Sparta, you're in the polygon, as well as Mitchell, Hamburg State Park, Shoals. It's right to the south of Devereaux, Jewel, Beale Springs, and the Shoulder Bone community. We don't talk about Shoulder Bone very often, but you're in the double warning here. You got the warning out to the west and the new one here toward the east. So you're under double warning there. All 6 houses in the Shoulder Bone community. Be on the lookout. Mayfield and Culverton in this polygon. So there you go. And new warning here for, this one's a little hard to see, but this is the one we're going to talk about here next. I know there's a lot going on. There are lots of warnings on top of warnings, but this is another warning that just came out. This is for eastern Oconee County, north central Morgan County, southeastern Banks County, eastern Clark County, northeastern Jackson County, northwestern Wilkes County, Oglethorpe County, and Madison County until 7:30. Line of thunderstorms near Banks Crossing to Diamond Hill to Farmington, moving east at 50 miles per hour. Again, 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, our main threat with this storm. And the possibility of some hail. I don't see a hail core at the moment, but there is that possibility there. So this does cover Athens, Colbert, Hull, Comer, Carlton, Palmetto, Vesta, Tignall, not to Washington. See, our polygon cuts off just north of Washington, so heading up 17 to Tignall, you're in there, but not Washington. We have a cell right over the Wilkes County Airport right now that is moving into town, but that's not severe, surprisingly enough. And listen, I know if you're in Washington and that's and this cell moves over the top of you, you're going to say, that seems severe to me, but technically this is not of a severe threshold at the moment. It's pretty close, but it's not. But we're watching this portion of the storm system moving in toward Elbert County. Again, going to be cutting through parts of Madison County, northern Wilkes County under a severe thunderstorm warning. And let me clear off the polygons. And kind of noticing something a little different here as these storms are starting to move towards South Carolina, and you can notice this with me, that you're seeing all these are linked together. This is all part of an MCS. Also could be a QLC. I'm throwing a lot of letters. I know multi-cellular complex here system coming through, squall line as we call it. But we see these areas of bright reflectivity popping up, so you can kind of see these individual cells showing out just a little bit more than what it looked like before. And that's a sign that the cells are getting sort of fed individually and not so much as just one continuous line. We start to see a little bit more spin when the cells go more isolated. But I still think we're not looking at a big tornado threat. We still don't have a lot of that wind shear to deal with. And we may be seeing the signs of the straight line wind starting to calm down just a little bit as these cells are becoming a little bit more independent, so to speak. What we often see is we see these independent cells and they all start coming together. And when they come together, that's when we get those really, really strong straight line winds. So it's kind of a trade-off. You know, you don't want to see the storms really getting discrete and going isolated because you start to get that spin, but at the same time, we could be seeing a little bit of easing off of those strong straight line winds. And notice we do still have these bowing sections, but they're not as strong as they were before. We don't see it pushing out as far ahead from the rest of the line of the storm. So that's another sign that we may be getting those straight line winds to start to calm down just a bit. All right, so lots of severe thunderstorm warnings. I'm just going to go full screen with this, and we'll go, we'll put this in motion. And I'm just going to call out counties that are involved in one way, shape, or another with a warning somewhere. So portions of Habersham County, Stevens, Franklin, Madison, Banks, Jackson, Clark, Barrow, Oconee, Oglethorpe, Wilkes, Greene, Morgan, Jasper, Putnam, Hancock, and Tolliver. Did I miss anybody? I think I got them all. One way or another, in one place or another in your county, you are involved with one of these severe thunderstorm warnings. So I know that's a lot to keep track of. Almost want to just turn off the polygons for now and just sort of focus on just the raw radar image and tell you who's in the clear and who's not. So looking at Stevens County, we have that severe thunderstorm warning for these storms moving in toward Toccoa, but our strongest of the reflectivity up along the Rabun-Stevens County line. So heading up toward the western edge here of the Savannah River, just above the Toccoa Water Treatment Plant. And then north of that, that's where we have that strong reflectivity. Decent rain coming down in Toccoa and then stretching into southern Stevens County. Stevens County High School is right here. So we have decent rain there, but we do have the heaviest rain, as I mentioned, north of the water treatment plant and heading up toward Rabun County. What's that, the one mile hill? What do they call it? There's a hill there. You start at the top and you can see 1 mile out to the other side. But if you're familiar with that part of the world, you know what I'm talking about. Franklin County, mainly south of I-85, picking up some strong reflectivity, beginning to move into Franklin Springs and Royston, heading up toward Carnesville, Franklin County High School side of Carnesville, the south side of town there. We're looking at that strong reflectivity, so heavy rain, and then wind really gusting out ahead of this. So from Royston, beginning to move in toward Bowman, eastern part of Madison County, Broad River Outpost area, that wind is really picking up and whipping right now as well, and then the heavy rain will follow. Heavy rain falling over Athens-Clarke County. It's really mainly north Athens and then heading out toward the northeast Clarke County. moving in toward Winterville. Winterville's right here. And then into northwest Oglethorpe County, southern Madison County. We have these storms beginning to move into Danielsville, strong winds into Comer as well. Not as bad south of Athens. Once you get down crossing the middle Oconee, heading into Watkinsville, it's raining. It's pretty heavy, but nothing really substantial right now. I think we may have another warning coming out, and we do. And this is going to cover Washington, so this is going to be our second warning now for a cell that's not part of the main squall line. So here's our second one, and this is going to cover the city of Washington. So severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 7:45. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible with this storm, and our latest sweep of the radar showing maybe some hail starting to pop up again. So this does cover Washington, Tignal, Rail, Ficklin, Lundberg, Danburg, Iona area, Iona Park, Rocky Creek, Fishing Creek Public Hunting Area. And we'll throw a couple roads up here to show you about where that hail is going to be a problem. So Goldmine Road, County Road 68, above Highway 44, which takes you down into Tolliver County. And there was a good power blink that we had. Hopefully we're still on the air. Yeah, Skull Shoals Road, starting to move in toward Hospital Drive. All right. I'm going to have to check and make sure we're still broadcasting. All right, everything's still connected. How about that? So that's our new severe thunderstorm warning. We're just kind of regrouping here because not everything in the studio stays on when we have the power outage. So that's why I'm not on the screen at the moment. So we'll have to get things restarted again, but the necessities stay on, which is important. So again, severe thunderstorm warning.